This is a slightly disturbing video, but I think you should watch it till the end because it will be good for you. What is the number one issue you're going to face in your life in the next 20, 30 years? Is it poor salaries? Is it work pressure? Is it difficult relationships? Is it bad health? Or is it something else? This video is about the number one thing you will face in your life. Before we start, do subscribe to my channel. Click on the bell icon so that the next time I make a similar video, you come to know about it. The number one issue you're going to face in your life is not about any of what I just said. It is about loneliness. Over the next 20 to 30 years, that's the biggest problem you're going to have. Let's look at some statistics before we get into this issue. According to the American Psychiatric Association, 1 out of 3 people are suffering from loneliness. There are nearly 15 to 20% of people across the globe who feel lonely every day. There's a research I was reading by the WHO which says that being lonely is equivalent to having 15 cigarettes every day. And that is the number one problem you're going to have. What happens when you're lonely? What happens when you're lonely is you go on this negative spiral. You start just doom scrolling on your social media, looking at others' profiles, feeling bad, listening to unnecessary podcasts, taking unnecessary courses. And this is this negative spiral where you feel bad for yourself and it becomes worse. That is the big problem with loneliness. So if you are in this space, or you're definitely likely to be in this space as the research suggests, what are the few things you can do to come out of this space of loneliness? And here are 4 or 5 things you should strongly consider to improve your mental health issues that come out of loneliness. The number one thing you should do is speak to regular people. There is this stupidity that is going around social media that you should only have overachievers, high profile people in your immediate circle. You should only spend time with them so that you become one of them. This is complete nonsense. You need to speak to regular people, have them in your life. Speak to the coconut seller, speak to the watchman, speak to the auto driver, speak to your domestic help, speak to regular people on an everyday basis. Understand their regular lives, and you will see that you are actually a part of the larger community. So that's number one. Speak to regular people, spend time with regular people. The second thing is spend time with family. So all of us may have some disturbed relationships with, say, parents, with siblings, and with other parts of the family, but you have to realize they always want your best, especially your parents and your siblings. And there is no reason absolutely to not speak to them every day. To speak to your parents or speak to your siblings every day. You're never too busy for them. The one thing you should always realize is today you're able to take the phone call, dial their number, and you know for sure one of your family members will answer the call on the other side. But may not be very long before you take the phone, dial the number, and there is nobody to answer on the other side. So speak to your parents, speak to your siblings every day for 15 to 30 minutes, and you will feel much better about yourself, especially if you're in a new city. The third thing you should look at, and this is extremely therapeutic, is to start teaching. Now, when you try and influence young minds, you automatically feel a part of the community. You will love their energy. It will give you so much joy. What can you start teaching about? Go back to your school, go back to your college, teach a certain subject, teach about cracking an entrance exam, teach somebody on doing well in interviews, or if you are in a profession, say data science, teach somebody about those techniques. When you teach people, and this is not for money, this is just your personal joy, you will feel so much nicer about yourself. You will feel like you're a part of the larger community. So that's the third thing you should strongly consider. The fourth thing, and I'm going to give you an analogy here, is that you'd rather be lonely than be lonely and have snakes all around you. So you need to cut off the snakes in your life. Think of your toxic relatives, the toxic relationships, the toxic friends. You have to just cut them off your life. Remember, it's better to be lonely than to be lonely with snakes around you. So always cut off those people. How do you cut them off? Stop talking to them. Stop going out with them. Mute them on WhatsApp. Mute them on social media. Do not engage with them. Just completely cut them off from your life, and you will have a much better life. And the last point I want to touch upon, and if you are religiously inclined or even slightly religiously inclined, There's a lot of merit in going to places of worship, temples, mosques, churches, gurudwaras. Just if you go every Sunday to a place of worship, spend just 15 to 30 minutes. You will slowly feel like you're connecting with the universe, you're connecting with the person above. And some of the problems you may have in your mind, you will realize are not as big as you think they are. So in my view, going to a place of worship, whichever God you worship, is a great way to remove loneliness and connect with the person above. So here are 5 things you can try, and this is something I encourage you to take up strongly because you will have this problem of loneliness over the next 20 to 30 years. Look at these 5 steps I spoke about. Drop your questions and your thoughts in the comment section. I will try and answer as many as I can. Before we finish, do subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell icon so that the next time I make a video, you come to know